14 different titles make up the first Indie Heroes collection for the Evercade, and some of these indie games are quite polished pieces from more dedicated studios, while some are personal labours of love by just a small handful of people, or even just a one person. Doodle World is a game created by a father and daughter combo, that being Nate and Araceli Peters from San Antonio, Texas. Nate was inspired by some of his daughter's doodling on paper, and she's now credited as the designer of this game. It's a fairly standard Super Mario style platformer, where the evil King Eraser and his office supply minions have stolen the magical crayon that is used to bring Doodle's amazing world to life. Playing as Doodle, it's up to you to travel through the levels, defeat King Eraser, and survive all the different foes that are put in your way along the way. I think the best thing about this game is the graphical style of it. Having the levels play out with the notepad lines in the background, it's a really neat idea. All the levels have that hand-drawn style and everything looks very cute and really colourful. Your controls for the game are simple enough. You move with the D-pad, you jump with the B button, and then you can hold the A button to run. Holding A for a running jump will also naturally get you a bit further than your standard jump will do. The controls work mostly well enough, although I wish Doodle had a little bit more weight to them. They can feel a bit floaty and it's easy to end up jumping a little bit too far or moving slightly too much on a platform. When you start to hold the A button to run, this can compound the issue as I found myself rushing through the level and I got myself killed again and again. Just the one hit will cause you to lose a life here, so your moves have to be pretty precise a fair amount of the time. Now admittedly, the speedy pace I was bashing through the levels while holding the A button down was my own fault, but I did find it hard to adjust to moving normally once I started going all Sonic the Hedgehog with it. There is a kids mode included in the game, I should point out, and that will give you more levels, easier enemies and bosses to contend with, but there will be less levels overall to play through. I'm not too sure about the branding on that mode though, simply because, as a kid, I don't think I'd want to play the kids mode over, the actual game, so perhaps just calling them easy and normal, difficult or whatever would have been a bit more fitting. There are some collectibles through the levels to pick up, and gathering 100 of these crayons will grant you an extra life. It's a simple inclusion, for a Mario style platformer, but it's still good to have in the game, and it gives you a reason to pick up all these crayons that are floating about. Bonus levels are also included where you have to grab all the crayons in a special bonus stage. These are really quick, frantic fun, and my only issue with them was figuring out where Doodle was actually placed on the stage when you enter it. Having Doodle either drop down onto the stage or be more obviously marked out would have been good, as I nearly ended up walking off the stage into the pit on a couple of occasions because I wasn't actually quite sure where I was stood. I did notice some glitches during gameplay, such as the odd crayon that couldn't be picked up no matter how many times I jumped at it, and the odd bit of kind of clipping into the level and such. I understand this is an effort from just a handful of people, but it still would have been good to have these issues ironed out. Thankfully, there is nothing here that will really affect your enjoyment of the game overall. The boss battles at the end of each world are pretty well done, and I found myself struggling with the boss at the end of the third world for a little bit, until I remembered, you can do a running jump. Suddenly it all made sense, and it was after this that I started trying to run through the next level a bit, like as if I was Sonic, and that was often to my own peril. The soundtrack to the game is overall pretty enjoyable to listen to, and it fits the game's setting really well. Doodle World is pretty fun to have a quick bash at, but its length is an issue as this game can be completed within about 45 minutes. I personally finished it at the 38-minute mark according to my own recording for this review. Still, using the running option, I'm sure I could see this game being enjoyed by anyone who likes speed running a game, as you could probably blast through this thing in no time with some practice when you knew where to jump and what to avoid and what enemies to hit and what have you. So time to conclude here, and I'm glad that Doodle World is one of the games making up this interesting mix of indie titles that we've got to release here on the Evercade. I'm going to hand it a 5 out of 10 score. The graphics and the style of the game, along with the music, really make it stand out for me. It all looks really nice, and they've done a great job of bringing that kind of doodling on paper idea to life. I'm not much of a speedrunner, as evidenced by my speedy attempts to get through a couple of the levels here, but I could see it really appealing to that crowd as well. The drawbacks include some of the glitches, and I found the controls to be a bit floaty at times. The length of the game is the main negative, it is just so short, but I will admit that this game is aimed towards younger children, so it may not be as much an issue to them in that regard, but for me though, it's just not enough to play. Overall, I would recommend playing through this to anyone who's interested in this cart or has it already and hasn't given this game a try, but it's definitely not something that I'd buy the cart outright to play. So thank you for joining me for this look into this cute little platformer Doodle World. Let me know how you found this game in the comments section below if you have played it, and please subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more Evercade game reviews, as more will be on the way very soon. Until next time, take it easy.